TP.
Hold on. Rein's dead. Very nice. Hello and welcome back to another Overwatch VOD review. I'm Scorch24 and today we're going to be taking a look at some tank gameplay by Gek. If you've been watching all of my VOD review series, Gek previously submitted on Zenyatta, which is his main role. So here he's on tank, which is not his main role, but I think might be a higher SR, but whatever the case. We're going to see some Rein and Zarya gameplay. Obviously we're starting on the Zarya here, and I believe we're going to be going for a Symmetra teleport.
Amount and fire.
Right side.
That's on the PTR right now.
Right side.
So what I'm looking for in this gameplay is good bubble usage, good positioning, and target prioritization. Hold on. Mine's dead. Okay, so your Moira's gone. I don't like this positioning. You kind of went all the way into the back line of the enemy for some reason.
Sorry, no bubble.
She's one. Okay.
Good.
Easy win.
So we're gonna take another look at that. You won, which is great. Good job. But that was only because the fight was so scuffed. You know, their Reinhardt charging off the edge with your Moira, which kind of a even trade in some ways. It won't work at higher elos is what I'm trying to get at. So let's take a look.
That's on the PTR right now.
Right side.
So their Rein is pushed forward. Unless he backs up.
You need the sexy ranches?
There he is. Okay, so you're a bubble. That's fine. That's good. You got the fire strike. You took some early damage. You're at 40 charge, which is perfect.
TP.
Did your Moira... Oh, as she was coming out of the teleporter, she gets hit by that Rein charge. That's unfortunate. Your Rein maybe could have charged against it to prevent her from falling off the edge and killing the Rein. But that's his VOD review, not yours. Hold on. Rein's dead. Okay. So notice how your entire team pushes to the side of the stairs here, where you're suddenly going to go around to the left into the enemy team. So let's just look. Okay, so the Doomfist helps you a little bit by punching you, but if he had gotten a perfect punch, you probably would have died. So that's something to keep note of. You couldn't really protect yourself because you didn't have bubble on cooldown, off cooldown, I should say. This is a cluster, you know. Okay, so you're looking to place your next bubble. You just used your bubble on yourself. You got some charge off it. That's fine. That's to save you. You knew you were in a bad position. You see the McCree going towards your Rein, who's anti. Now, I would agree, yeah, probably getting your Rein off anti would be a good idea in this situation, but that McCree is about to die, so I probably wouldn't have worried too much about it. And you struggled to get the bubble on him in the first place. I don't know how that bubble got off. I don't see
Sorry, no bubble.
where that worked. Zarya no bubble. That was good. Where was Symmetra in this case? Oh, she's behind the thing. Okay, never mind. This was the best bubble option for you at this moment. Symmetra dies.
Sorry, no bubble.
Protector and callouts are good. So yeah, just a little bit of a weird positioning on your part, but you guys were able to capitalize on the enemy team making worse mistakes. And you had your Rein alive, which does help a lot.
Remember, we came here to clap them cheeks.
If you don't know the Zarya jump tech, you should definitely learn it. I'll go over it at the end of the video. Okay. Strange engagement.
Go bottom left.
On your side.
Not a lot of charge gained off of your bubbles. Shadows. Finally getting some charge.
Sorry, no bubbles.
We're pushing the enemy team down. That's great. Great job collapsing onto the Rein.
Sorry.
Great
Zarya,
job,
Zarya,
focus on the
Zarya.
Zarya. A lot of good callouts from your
Ryan Mercy
Symmetra.
downstairs with Mercy.
Okay, so
Just focus Mercy.
okay, so there were good callouts here. Let's find a better way to have attacked this. It all starts from a good engagement. Now you luckily use so at gold rank, it's okay that not everyone is coordinated. And what will make a difference as a tank player is using the enemy's confusion and maybe a little bit of your own team's confusion to capitalize on bad positioning. So in this example, we're going to be going up to that's where we want to go. We want to go to the high ground on second point Hanamura. It's a really safe spot for any attacking team. It forces the defenders off the high ground, which pushes them to point essentially, and you can decide what to do then. At the moment, for like the first 15 seconds of this engagement, no one knows where people are going. So you need to find a way to either juke the enemy team to make a positioning call or like move as a unit, which with Rein Zarya is what you want to do is called death ball. Move your way into a position that forces the enemy team out. And we're gonna talk about your bubbles here too. Okay, so unfortunately it hits your Moira. But I don't think I would have used bubble at this moment either for your Rein. He's only getting poke damage from the Reaper. And we're gonna see in about 4 or 5 seconds that maybe your team bubble could have been used better when the Rein gets antied. You use your bubble here, which again you were probably anticipating a lot of damage coming your way, but there's this confusion and no one's engaged yet. So it's probably better to hold your own personal bubble and just deal with a little bit lower charge until you get that official engagement, which is what happens here when both Reins charge each other. This is a good moment to use your bubble. So if you had the team bubble on him, as he gets slept, as he gets antied, as the Rein gets his own bubble, like your Rein is very lucky that he survives this.
Go bottom left.
But you could have used your bubble on him to protect him as he took damage, and then as he's backing out, you could have used your personal bubble on yourself to, build up that charge, back out, and then re-engage. This Reaper's out of position, so it's a great job that you guys pulled back and were able to kill him here.
TP up.
Great job. And then, so that's the confusion that you were looking for, right? You wanted the enemy team to make a mistake, and in this case, it was the Reaper. Now you take the fight from a 6v6 to a 5v6. And now you can push up the staircase as a full unit and make an engagement. The Zarya does a bad positioning mistake here as well. She almost dies for it. I don't know where your Moira is in this case. I haven't seen her, so I'm kind of surprised she dies here.
Sorry, no bubbles.
But you guys collapse, which is really good. You do have the Doomfist in the top. Okay, so both of you, what were your supports doing? I wish I had an overview. Okay, we can make do with this.
Zarya.
Yeah, that's a good call on the Zarya, only because she was so hype charged, and you're not quite there yet. So you just used bubble on yourself, and I don't think you needed it.
Zarya.
Yeah, I mean, you saw the Reaper coming back, but with a Rein there wasn't going to be enough damage on you personally, so I would probably almost recommend using the team bubble on your Rein if he's going to soak up the damage, because he needs to get really close in order to deal damage to Reaper, and Reaper deals extra damage when all his pellets from his shotgun hit his target. So using your bubble on Rein in that situation would be a lot more beneficial, because then both of you can focus on the Reaper without either of you taking a lot of damage. And I know that they just called Rein, got rezzed, but you could kill the Reaper first before you turn around and deal with the Rein. This would help you so much more. because you're leaving your Rein alone right now. So take the one fight. You have enough damage with both you and Rein there to kill the Reaper instantly. He used Wraith coming out of the spawn, so he doesn't have Wraith form anymore. So that's where your attention should have been.
Nice res.
Ryan res downstairs with Mercy.
Yeah, and because you used your team bubble on the Junkrat who wasn't taking damage because it was a Reinhardt down there, you let your own Reinhardt die.
Back up.
I am not a good lord.
Shout out to Tinero for some really good shot calls.
We're not gonna
FYI.
talk about that.
If you guys want back up, we can TP left.
Again, if you haven't watched
yeah,
my
there's no one over
my
here.
Symmetra teleport
There's no one over
strat
here?
on this very
Junk?
map,
Moira?
check it out. It's pretty
Junk,
good.
stop shooting.
Okay, I would have checked to see if your Junkrat was even in team chat, because odds are he wasn't.
Okay, I've shattered. Don't be quiet. Be quiet. Let me go first.
I like your Reinhardt telling his
I'm gonna
team to
shatter.
be
We're all
quiet.
gonna go. Okay.
Doom's up in the.
Oh, they're
up
top.
on
They're
the-
top. They're top. Just go point. They're gonna drop.
Nice block.
They're all. Get Ryan. Focus Ryan. Focus Ryan.
Nice!
Nice.
Fucking tired, yo.
Nice
Die.
ult, everyone.
Mercy, Mercy. And Ana. Zarya.
Zarya.
Clean up, boys.
I did that with a no charge. I just did a terrible bubble.
Reaper on point.
Reaper on.
Mercy.
Thank you for shield.
Zarya. Oh.
Medium.
Okay.
What the fuck?
I'm being quiet there because I was really trying to focus on where your bubbles are going and your positioning. So this is a long engagement. Let's take it again. I don't know if I want to go back that far. Okay, we're gonna talk about your bubbles only in your first initial engagement, just so you know why you weren't getting any charge, and then we'll go to the second engagement.
Gonna drop.
Okay, so your first bubble happens. Okay, I'm not gonna necessarily fault you for this one, only because we weren't gonna communicate we were gonna use wall, and I think you saw the Rein getting ready to shatter, and that's why you reactively
Gonna
pressed it.
drop.
Oh, that is so hard to tell. Okay, I'm just gonna say it was a reactionary bubble, but I don't think I would have personally used my bubble just yet.
Nice block.
That's okay. Okay, you're about to use your bubble on the Reinhardt. This isn't a great idea at the moment because you have the wall. And your Reinhardt can play around the wall plus his own barrier. So you want to wait until maybe one of your other teammates or your Reinhardt gets in a worse position that they need the bubble, so you guarantee that charge. Otherwise, you're sitting for 10 seconds without any way to build up your beam charge.
They're all. Get Ryan. Focus Ryan.
So like their Rein was shattered, and you bubbled him for I don't know what reason exactly. Maybe you thought he was going to be targeted immediately, but also understand you're in a weird rank. Gold, you have some players who will react, and some teams that will react to being like, "Oh, we got to sleep the Rein." I don't know if this Ana has shown herself to be capable enough to do that. So, a lot of I mean, this is all gonna be hindsight. I don't know if there's enough time even for myself to have realized that in the middle of a game, but I would have just probably held it here because the immediate threat to Rein is not significant. And if he does get slept and the Reinhardt wakes up, and the other Reinhardt gets up from charge and charges your Reinhardt while he slept, then you can bubble him and you immediately get your 40 charge.
Nice!
Nice.
Fucking tired.
But here, if you had your bubble left, your Moira was coalescing, but she was antied. So you could have used your bubble on the Moira to cleanse her of that anti and allow her to use her ultimate to the full capacity.
Nice ult, everyone.
And from here it's just
Mercy,
cleanup, so we're just gonna skip ahead. Okay, so you have Grav at the start of this next engagement. You are the only ultimate going into this next fight. And when you're only going to have a third left to go. Getting a 1 or 2 crucial picks in a Grav is going to win you this fight immediately. You end up holding your Grav for a little too long. Note that Moira Church just died. She'll be coming back soon, but you have 4 other teammates who can fire into a Grav, one of which has bombs, and the other guy just swings his hammer. He's going to get his ultimate fast from that as well. So you want to look for a crucial 2-person pick that will guarantee the win.
No charge. I did a terrible bubble.
Reaper on point.
So Doomfist, you're almost able to kill. He ends up using his ultimate last second. You killed the Reaper. Great job. Now you have a ball to deal with. And as you're probably experienced during this game, that's a very difficult character to hold in one spot. But what ultimate can hold a character in spot for a couple seconds? You know? Also, while the Doomfist is ulting, you should be looking at your squishy targets. Rein can probably prevent the Doomfist ult entirely. He just needs to back out of position a little bit and put up his shield, and it blocks it entirely. Your supports, except for your Baptiste, can't protect against that. And your Baptiste uses Immortality about 10 seconds ago at the end of the last fight. So he probably doesn't have it up just yet. So you want to be looking over to your squishy heroes to bubble one of them, whichever one. Preferably a support, but if a DPS is the only one that's in the target, then use it on the DPS. Yeah, so if you had looked over in time, you probably would have been able to bubble your Symmetra and have stayed up. Luckily, you are still up character-wise. Your Moira's almost back. She's over here. Your Baptiste is up here somewhere.
Mercy.
Okay, and you end up getting grabbed. I probably would have used your ultimate.
I did that with no charge. I did a terrible bubble.
Reaper on point.
Reaper on.
I would have used it right there.
Mercy.
As that ball was coming in towards you, I would have used it. Yeah. You do get stuck, and then you kind of just throw your ultimate away. At that point, you're better off just holding it and waiting until the next fight. Because I feel like now you're just gonna get overwhelmed with respawns. And here you positioned away from your supports. So in cases where the fight is starting to be lost, don't stay on the point. Instead, just back out towards wherever your respawns are coming from, because the odds of the enemy team either staying on point and just not engaging allows you to get out with your charge, which right now is at 67. And if they decide to push you, you have that charge, you have the Rein, and you're gonna have I think Moira she just got slept. So I mean you won't have your Moira, but you'll have respawn advantage if they try to push you out. So whenever you need to back out, or whenever the fight starts to seem lost, you need to move towards your spawn in the hopes that either the enemy team makes a mistake or you can regroup and not lose time.
Look at that TP go to point.
Good
Go back,
patience.
back up to me. Back up to me.
GG, good.
Oh, bad idea. Fucking roads here now. Okay, cool.
Kill the road.
I like that you pushed. I don't know if I would have dropped off the top
Pull the
though,
top.
just yet.
Ryan's out of
Shade
position.
around to top right. Top Orana.
This is just scrap. This is fine. You have a good amount of charge.
Shield.
So I wouldn't. Ryan.
Yep.
I wouldn't have used bubble there.
Grab tire in a second.
Yeah, we can win it.
Oh, they almost gave that to you for free.
I'm gonna use grab.
You didn't bubble your Symmetra. That would have saved her,
Yeah.
at least for a moment.
Yeah, it was unfortunate.
And you just wasted Symmetra ult. Okay, you're swapping to Reaper. That's fair. That was good. That was good ult charge.
Reloading.
Get a shot
Behind us again.
Yikes. They're just bad engagements, right? There's
Wow,
not
really, dude?
Okay, just wait for my shotter and capitalize, please.
Yeah. There's not a lot that you could have done in that engagement when your Ana's
know why you
dead,
fucking-
and yeah, I don't know why you went main
Yeah, go upper
either.
right.
It's not the best idea
high
for
ground.
your comp against them. They have a lot of spam damage. You know, they have a Junkrat, they got Roadhog, so that's just a lot of damage against your shield. Oh, that's unfortunate. I didn't even know he was there.
He didn't solo shatter you.
Oh, but that was good. That was good. You capitalized because he was alone.
Going.
You still have your
I'll
bubble.
shatter through here.
Okay, so
Nice stun, nice stun.
Oh,
Bro,
Don't charge up that
bro,
bubble.
no heal, bro, no heal. Nice tire. Hammond.
Kill him.
Hit the one.
okay.
With
So you managed to pull that out.
1.7 spared.
I'm not going to talk about much in that last engagement. It was scrappy. The Rein was alone, and you guys just did a good job of communicating and collapsing onto point after that. Bubble charge was a little questionable, but I liked that you protected your Rein during that kill on the enemy Rein. So that was just a safe call in case he had anything up his sleeve. And you went to point with your own bubble. So
In fact, I'm still giving.
TP's the health pack.
We got a Pharah. On my death, I'm switching to Rein.
you know, I know you're saying when you die you're gonna swap to Rein, but
Behind left.
maybe staying Zarya in this comp would work. Depends on how well they play.
Oh, I
They
got
do
him.
have double main tank, but they're not playing
Rein's
together,
low.
so
Dead.
your team is doing really good.
Just right there.
I don't think you need to change.
Pharah to the far right, I think, over by Mega.
Yeah, go check.
Alright, I'm gonna kill myself and become back as Rein.
Yeah, it's Pharah Emerson.
Yeah, in this case, that's a
Coming
tough
from
call.
Mega.
I don't know if
Right side.
I would have swapped back
Yeah, they're all
to
left,
Rein,
all left.
but
Ryan,
it
you're
is a
gonna
good call because in case this engagement didn't go well, which nice job getting hooked. Your Baptiste should not be using his immortality like that. And weird charge. One thing I noticed from you is that you charge a little bit too much as Reinhardt. Good job getting these cleanup kills.
Big.
Yep, great job. Questionable ultimate on your Mercy's part.
Oh, suck a dick, dude. Awful Mercy.
I just tried reloading.
Push up. I have main shield. We can stall him at gate.
I have a window.
I don't know if I like this call specifically. Only
Don't be
because
afraid to come up here.
you guys were doing so well just holding on point that they couldn't really do much. Now, I'm gonna just let this play out here for a sec.
Shield's coming up after this.
So many colors. So many colors. Oh, okay. Okay, so your Symmetra said that she has her ultimate in case it's needed. So even though the shield nerfs have taken place, I think you could have stayed up here in the center a little bit more. At least play around the right side versus the left side. Because when you're standing here on the left side, you provide a lot of sight lines to the enemy team. None of them are over here. So why are you not playing? Why are you playing in their sight lines, right? Instead, you could be playing over here where the Symmetra has, some turrets set up. If you need to let your shield charge, you can hide around this corner, and the enemy team has to make a lot more moves to see you again. And by that time, when they realize that you're hiding to bring your shield back up to health, it's probably going to be halfway charged, so you can provide a little bit of a pushback. So this is the Rein games that you hear a lot of the high-level pros talk about. It's this mental game of what is the enemy, like what is the Rhine going to do in this case? Are they going to push us? Are they going to back off? Why are they backing off? Are they going to shatter? Like there's a lot of questions that are going through people's minds that they may not realize when it comes to an enemy Reinhardt, and especially a Rhine v Rhine. It has those individual Rhine games as well. um, but in this case, I wouldn't have moved to the left because, as you saw, the Reinhardt's going to be able to charge you. They're going to be able to break your shield. You being so far to the left and your whole team being on the right side provides a perfect opportunity for the Reinhardt to use Shatter. So you should have just been playing on the right here, and that's just a positioning issue. And I think that's just because I know you play off tank a lot more than you do play main tank. So as you play Ryan a little bit more, be a little bit more aware of where your team is and how the enemy team is perceiving and seeing your team play.
Don't be afraid to come up here.
Again, your Baptiste is using his immortality at very strange times.
Shield's coming up after this. Ooh, not good.
Your shield was full charge. You should have probably just put it up.
Alright, this isn't over.
Yeah, we have TP, right?
We have TP.
Yeah, with TP's out.
We have TP and Shatter.
Might be able to get there.
Got touch, buddy.
No, that's a no. Turn back.
Let's go top. They're going top. They're going top, top right, or top left. Sorry.
Yep, top left.
I definitely would not have charged there, because if that Ryan was smart, he would have
Yeah, I was
charged you
getting
back.
up there.
TP's on the point.
Okay, so we talked about the attacker side of this spot a couple minutes ago, but now we're on the defender side. So the same kind of principles apply here, except in the reverse, right? You're waiting for the enemy team to make an engagement, and then you guys will make a counter engagement or back off. And by this, they're either going to push up these staircases and get you guys off the high ground, which if you need to, you can, and regroup back on point, or you can counter engage with your Sigma by going around and using your Shatter. So there's a lot of play here, and this is like Rein games that I was talking about. If their Rein pushes up and begins to move into staircase, and you're thinking ahead, you can move around as the team as he goes in front and use your Shatter and capture like half, if not the rest of the enemy team in that Shatter, and that's an easy one ultimate fight win.
Cayman's up point.
There's really no need for, and getting a little bit more minute in what you're doing. Okay, sorry, I'm like talking about 5 things at once. So first off, no need to use your fire charge when you're fully charged on your ultimate, because now you're providing the enemy supports with healing, which will get their ultimates sooner if they don't have it already. Secondly, I don't understand why you're pushing up. You're using your shield. Look how fast that thing drops. It's down to 500 in like 1.5 seconds. and you don't end up disengaging to your right, you try to go back up with your shield, and you get punished for it. So I'm really not sure what your mentality was here, whether it was to join with your Sigma or if it was to push the enemy team back. I don't get it, but you didn't have anyone around you, so you're gonna die from that.
Number Rein.
I tried.
If you were big brain plays, you probably could have shattered them there, but it's a risky shatter. The Reaper was slightly to your left, so you know how fucking perfect Reinhardt's ultimate is. It probably would have missed the Reaper and you would have died anyway. So there would have been, again, no follow up and no shatter wasted. But yeah. Great job on your team though with managing everything that's happening. It was a feed on your part,
My Rein play
but
is rough right now.
your team
Reaper
was
Wraith.
able to take care of it. Big cleanup.
Nice. Let's go top again.
They're still going left.
Again, you're using your
They're up here.
fire strikes with no real purpose. You're just allowing the enemy supports to gain ult charge.
Watch out, the Rein likes to charge up.
Yeah.
I don't think he charges up all the time, but it's only going to be when there's a lone Reinhardt.
Oh, do you have Shatter? Hammer's on point.
Okay, so a lot's happening here, and you're not looking at the right things, I guess. So listen carefully.
I'm gonna ult them here.
So your Sigma says he's going to ult them, and the entire 5 people are here. So I know you see the Hammond go around, but it's just one Hammond, and you have no the enemy team has no progress on your point. So even if the Hammond is somehow able to pull off one tick, that's all he's going to get by the time you kill the enemy team and regroup back to point. So here, when you're Sigma ult, you could either drop down around to the side, ignore the Hammond, drop down to the left here, use your charge when the enemy team comes down. They're all being kept up by the ceiling, so you could just swing into that as well and kill them super quick.
Oh, do you have Shatter? Hammer's on point. Never mind, he's up the top.
That Sigma ult didn't get anybody because there was no follow-up, because your counter calls are confusing your own team. So you're actually hurting your team a little bit more by calling for this Hammond than just saying focus the Sigma ult.
Can I get some healing next to you, buddy?
Back up.
Junkrat on point. Junkrat low. Junkrat's one.
Good.
Oh
Bruh.
my god.
Good charge.
Mercy.
So you can see just the absolute value that Reinhardt
I
has
can't believe
when your team works
totally
together
wasn't
in a
spotted.
close space. Even though the enemy team on paper has way more damage than all of you, they don't have the health pools to and the amount of time to dish out that damage.
That was so toxic.
Your fire strikes are great, by the way. I don't think I've seen you miss a fire strike at all.
Oh, Sigma.
Sigma 1.
Sigma.
Okay.
I'll have Shatter. I have Shatter.
Yeah. Just stay on
Stay
the sounds.
immortality.
Oh, shit.
Oh my god, fat. Okay.
Nice.
It's huge.
It was a great shatter. Not gonna lie. Very lucky that their Reinhardt stopped paying attention to the spawns. However, instead of charging first, can you please use your fire strike on these weaker DPS? If you use your fire strike,
Oh, shit. I got
you can confirm kills a lot faster. And you don't have to charge them, because as they're knocked down, if you charge them and if you brush past any other players, they're going to get pushed away from the rest of your team. So you're actually hurting your team by doing this. If you had fire struck these 3 or even just these 2, walked over and done one swing, that would have been enough. Your shadow lasts longer than you think it does, so you have time to move over to these people here and kill them faster. Except so like if you just focus the Moira first, she's the only one who really has any mobility out. Their Mercy can't go anywhere because the entire team is here. So even if she Guardian Angels across to the other side of the point, your hammer can hit her faster.
Huge.
Nice.
It's huge. It's huge.
And you kind of knock the Sigma off, which,
Oh,
while it's good to provide the stall, by the
You're
way,
bad,
can you
Ryan.
chase him? You should
I
have
am a
chased him
bad
there.
Ryan.
stagger the Sigma.
One. Come back.
Huge stagger.
At least your Sigma doesn't lose a
That was
1v1.
Too bad the rest of them were like fucking whipped.
I think he's gonna go main.
Good fight strike.
They go man. I have
If he tries to charge, I'm gonna stun him.
They're going main.
Yeah, let him walk. Let him walk in.
Reaper bottom left.
No barrier.
Junk top. Junk one.
You can use your shield to prevent that knockup, by the
I'll
way.
just hold up here on my own.
Oh, dude, come down, come down, come down, come down. We need you.
I
just
don't
pulled
know.
him out of my
I
charge.
hate Sigma's ultimate sometimes. Okay, you should be focusing one person. Again, that fire strike is.
Shoot the Mercy.
No need to be looking up the Mercy. You should be focusing on other things right now. Calling out where that Junkrat is.
I shot that. Dude, focus one or the other.
Focus ball. Focus ball.
Nice job.
Nice.
Nice, you shouted him off point. Alright. I mean, it was a good win. It was a scrappy win in some
Please
cases.
be my shatter.
Um,
Oh. Oh, it is my shatter.
this was interesting.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
look
so
at
luckily your Reaper's there to help clean up some of those kills there. But you could have probably gotten play of the game if you had gotten those kills. Just saying. In any case, definitely continue working on your bubbles. Continue working on your positioning as a main tank, and just be a little bit more aware of the Rein plays. He's an easy character to play, but he's difficult to get great at. Good Reins can, block shatters. Good Reins can make great shatters. But the great Reins will be those players who can kind of almost predict enemy team movement and set your own team up to have a better positioning against whatever movement the enemy team is coming up with. So that takes a long time, and you're going to get more experience as you continue to rank up and move into Plat and Diamond. So just get more familiar with it. Watch some of the pros too. Some of them are really good with explaining on what they're doing at certain times. So if you really want to get good, definitely just recommend watching some more videos. But in this case, you have some things to work on now, and hopefully next time you submit a video, we'll see some really good improvements. It's going to take care of it for today's video. If you like what you see, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. I'm putting out new VOD reviews or videos in general every Monday. And if you want to get your own VOD review, check the link in the description to our Discord channel where you can get info on how to submit that VOD. I've been Scorch24. We'll see you next time.
Oh, we're doing that type of bullshit.
Okay, we.
Hey, Bastion, come here.